Remember about 3 years ago where the Democrats in Sacramento wanted to make it a misdemeanor for someone to sell a 15-year-old girl for sex. Instead of a felony, they wanted to make it a misdemeanor. But what happened? The Own Life movement started. Even people that have voted Democrat their entire life said, wait a minute, that's not what I voted for. Sell a 15-year-old girl and you get a ticket? Absolutely not.
Welcome to the Proper Scoundrel Show.
Oscar, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you coming out.
No, it's an honor to be here. And I want to say your logo is awesome. I love it.
I appreciate that. So, you've been busy.
Very busy. It's been a year now, nonstop, no RDOs, days off, and but it's also very fulfilling.
And you have a job.
And I have a job. I'm still active in the department. I'm still working, and I work in one of the busiest stations, Palmdale Station.
So you must have really wanted to take on that task because that's a lot of work.
Yes, it is. But I prayed to God, and I got the approval from the person that has to give me the approval, which is my wife.
The boss.
Yeah, the boss. That's it. The real WC. I said, listen, it's going to be hard for you because we have two kids, small children, and we're very involved in our children's life. And she knew she would have to take some of the tasks that I do, the swimming lessons, the soccer, the games, whatever have you. And she was on board. I definitely would not be here without that approval because, as you know, the department is there for you, but your family will always be there for you. So your family comes first. And once she gave me that okay, and I talked to many members of the community, many members of our department, and I said, okay, let's do this. We need some change.
You're a Marine.
United States Marine Corps, 8 years, in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Not were you a Marine. You are a Marine.
Once a Marine, always a Marine.
You know, I know this. I have some Marines in my family.
Thank you.
Of them. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
What did you take from the Marines and take it and translate it over to the Sheriff's Department?
The easiest part by far was the chain of command. Obviously, in the Marine Corps is the most traditional of the branches in the military. So it was very easy for me to transfer that chain of command to our chain of command that we have in the Sheriff's Department. The hardest part, probably, I expected policing to be a little more like the military.
Okay.
As far as that same chain of command.
Yeah.
When I came in and I started realizing, oh, it's not like before. We actually have rights here. You don't really have that in the military. You do, but not to the degree. But I thought policing, again, before I joined the force, I thought policing was a little more structural, more like the military. And also I came from the East Coast where the state patrol, the state troopers are very, very military-like. So I was used to that. And when I came to California and I joined the force, I realized, oh, we're a little more laid back over here.
The academy must have been easy.
Well, it was easy as far as the physical. I was way better shape, of course, back then, and following orders and all that. That was easy. I guess the hardest part was like, oh my God, can we just get out there and do the job? Like that was the hardest part. I didn't have any issue with the shooting. I didn't have any issue with the academics. Where I left the Marine Corps with a master's degree, so it was definitely
with the master's degree.
They paid for it. That's a fact. My first,
so you took advantage of that.
I did. So my bachelors, I got it while I was on ship in the middle of the Mediterranean. And my master's came in when I was in Iraq. I still remember we call it the old man, the colonel, came and presented me with my master's degree because I just finished right before our deployment. I asked my professor, hey, can I take my final test early? There was no AI back then. You had to figure it out. Yeah. And they let me finish earlier, and the degree actually came in to my battalion office, and the old man came and presented it to me.
You took advantage of that time to the max.
And then when I was in custody, I was bored. I was very bored in custody.
It is a boring job.
So no offense to my partners in custody. I was very bored there. So I said, you know what? I still have my tuition assistance, my GI Bill. Let's get another master. So then I went to Woodbury University in Burbank. I will get off work at Twin Towers and go to Burbank, Woodbury, and I got my second master's degree there.
Outstanding.
Thank you.
There's so much wasted time in all those places.
Yes.
Most guys are ODR, it used to be gym. Some guys are just chilling. But you took advantage of every moment. I know guys that were studying.
That was me.
At their station. They're like, some guys came back from patrol and they were at their station studying because they needed the time. And they went back out to patrol. SCB guy came out back from SCB. It was, I'm going to get my degree.
That's it.
It's time to do it.
And that's what I try to tell the young kids. Don't waste your time. We're busy in patrol. Don't get me wrong. We're not that busy. And you got to make time for yourself to educate yourself and make yourself better.
But you know how hard that is to get a kid that you're probably your age to say, give up all your time hanging out with the guys and go over there and read a book.
Yes.
Because the peer pressure is you guys are goofing off or talking, laughing, joking. Then there's the work. But a lot of downtime and wasted time. You took advantage of it. I'm telling you right now, outstanding, because I was there at the jail. I didn't have any desire to open a book. I thought I would just fall asleep. First of all, it's just hard to stay awake early mornings. I worked early mornings.
I think the culture has changed. I think back in your time, if I may say, I don't think that pressure to get a college degree was there like it is now.
Yeah, it absolutely wasn't.
Correct. So I think it's more now to get that college degree if you're in the department or if you want to move up or if you want to leave the department eventually. So you see it more now. Really? You see a lot of kids that coming into patrol already with actually a minimum of associate's degree, if not a full-fledged bachelor's degree. I have a deputy that just got her master in psychology.
Outstanding. I think it was at our time, and my time was, this is it. I don't have any plans to promote, and I have no plans to leave. So I'm just going to try to move within the department. I want to get to SCB. I want to get to NACA. I want to get to arson. You want all these inside internal stuff.
Which is fine. Let's not put that down.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Because a lot of those certifications will definitely move you up, and we need that. Like outside the department, I tell kids, don't waste your money getting a 4-year college degree if you don't know what you're going to do. Yeah. Become a plumber. Become an electrician.
That's
HVAC
money.
technician.
Money.
You're coming out, no debt, and you're making 6 digits. So college is not for everybody. It was for me. I like reading. I like studying. But I also told people, look, if you want to go be an arson, go arson. If you want to go to SCB, go SCB. But do your job and do it right. Instead of sitting here, study. In addition with studying for college in custody, I was the geek with the radio on. I think I had the Compton Station frequency, something like that, just to get myself ready for patrol. Because I wanted to move up. I couldn't wait.
Getting your ear keyed to that radio is very, very hard. And everybody who goes to patrol understands that's a very hard thing to do, is have that radio and decipher her speed first, or his speed. They just spit out stuff. Most of it's not important to you.
Correct.
But you think everything's important when you get out there. 100%. And then you start missing stuff, and now you're in trouble.
Correct, because if you miss that last radio traffic, it may not be for you. It may not even be for your station. But if your TO asks, hey, what just happened? And you don't have an answer, you know exactly what happened after that.
You're going to pay. Yes. You're going to pay, and you should pay.
Correct.
You should pay. He's trying to get you ready for something quickly. Training, we think it's hard and long when we're on it, but it's short if you really think about what you're going to be doing after you get off training. You got to be ready the day you get off training.
Yes, the training is just the foundation.
Yes.
Afterwards is when you really learn. When you're on your own and you turn around, there's no one there. You need to come up with that decision right then and there.
Everybody wants to be alone, though.
Yeah, that's true.
I can't wait till I'm off training. I can't wait to sit by this guy. And then when you're alone, you're going, yeah, I love it. You're alone. It's freedom. But there's also a lot of, oh, shit.
Yes, I agree 100%.
We didn't do this on training. What the hell am I supposed to do here? You call your TO over to help you out.
There you go.
But those are good things. So you were deployed. How many tours?
I did to Iraq. I did 3 tours. To Afghanistan, I did 1. And then I also did 2.5 years as an embassy Marine. So Marines guard the embassies. So I was deployed to different embassies throughout those 2 years.
I have a coin right there. Embassy Marine coin right there.
But there you go.
My nephew was at the embassy.
There you go. So it used to be called MSG. I think it's called Embassy Guard, something like that right now. To any young man out there, young woman going to the Marine Corps, I highly, highly recommend it. In fact, my godson just graduated from boot camp, and I told him, you need to go to it. It is an amazing adventure. You're going to learn so much. You're going to see the world. Yes, you're in the military, but you're more working for the State Department, and it was great. It was awesome. I loved it.
Sending me pictures in the Netherlands, and on Viking ships, and he was just, this kid from L.A. was just living the life.
That's it.
And he got elevated to sergeant by Mathis.
Yes.
Mad Dog. I got a picture of him being sworn in by General Mathis.
General Mathis was my brigadier general when I was in Afghanistan. Task Force Tarawa.
Where would you get that unless you enlisted and did this kind of stuff? But you sacrificed your time to be a Marine and to give it to your country.
Correct.
And I made fun of him all the time. I said, don't tell me you have a hard time, man. You're out there. He was dating, Easy
life. You get the Marine house, you get a driver, you get a cook. Like I said, but I loved it. But at the same time, that was 2.5 years. But I also did the rest of my time in the infantry, going to Iraq and Afghanistan, an infantry unit. Talk about lack of comfort. But I learned from that, and I loved it. And I miss it now. I didn't think it was great back then, but I miss it now. That friendship, like you said, the friendship that you build, the brotherhood. We were all males at the time. I know they have females now, and it was great. It was awesome.
That's fantastic. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up actually in the East Coast. I was born in the Dominican Republic. I came to the East Coast with my family and grew up in New Jersey, New York, and Connecticut.
Oh, yeah, easy life.
Yeah, we have seasons there, so I love this weather here.
Yeah, they get some rough streets over there too.
They do. They do.
How'd you fare with that? Is it okay?
I have to give credit to the Roman Catholic Church. That's where my grandmother raised me, and it kept me out of trouble. I was an altar boy. I was very close to my priest. I loved it. And it was the church that actually kept me out of trouble. I was going to be a priest, actually, before I joined the Marine Corps. And actually went to the seminary. Obviously, that didn't work out. I have a wife and 2 kids now, but still close to my church, obviously, and I love it. But I have to give credit. It was the Catholic Church that kept me out of trouble, and it was the Marine Corps that made me a man.
That's outstanding. We had Ruben Nava in here, and he's now a pastor for the department.
Okay.
Watch that episode. He's fantastic.
Will do.
Great guy, great man. Great story.
And if you look at the news right now, there's actually a resurgence of faith among the Gen Z generation. They're realizing Hansen's Law has become reality. Hansen's Law pretty much says what the first generations removed, the grandson tries to restore it. And you're seeing that more and more, especially in the Catholic Church. It has grown in the last 5 years. But all religions, especially within Christianity, of course, have grown a lot within the last 5 years as Gen Z realizing what they're missing.
You need that foundation.
Yes.
And family and faith is the most solid foundation you could have. That's me. I don't care. That's it.
No, I agree 100%.
I don't waver. Never have.
In fact, before as I was considering running for sheriff, there's 2 things people told me. Number 1, you can't say you're a Republican in LA County. Number 2, you can't talk about Jesus Christ.
No.
And I say, well, that's a problem because that's who I am politically, even though it's a nonpartisan race. And number 2, I'd rather lose with my Lord than to win without him. So I've always told people that's not going to be me. I may not win the election, but at least you know who I am. I'm not faking it.
Doing it for the right reasons.
Yes, sir.
And that's what we want to hear. That's what I want to hear. That's what my guys want to hear. Because I hope you know this. We have a good following with deputies.
You do?
In the field. A lot of guys in the jails. We don't pull sides here. We just talk. But we're just talking about how we went through. I'm old. I'm not as old as some of the guys I brought in here, but they were my mentors.
Of course.
So I had the luxury and the honor of bringing a lot of my mentors in here.
I saw that.
And I wouldn't see them if I wasn't doing this. I would have a 10-minute conversation on the phone or maybe a text or maybe nothing because we're all very busy people.
Just during Christmas, that's it.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Or, tell me somebody has passed away because that happens a lot too.
Yeah.
But getting them in here and honoring their knowledge and their history and their path is fantastic. And I'm blessed to be doing it. But the younger generation, I fear they're not going to have any of those memories. I fear they're going to have nothing but bad memories. And I feel bad for them.
Well, I think I agree with you to some extent, but also the generation has changed. I think when you went to patrol, and even when I went to patrol, you go to patrol and stay for 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
Those days are over. It's now usually 2 to 3 years, max. I mean, that's it right there. Even waiting for patrol is much shorter now. You probably recall, let's say you graduated the academy, went to custody or courts, and you're putting for East LA. That was 8 to 10 years wait.
Yeah.
Easy.
The stations that were more popular, it was forever.
Forever. Your Century station, 5 to 6 years. Mm-hmm. Industry, I think it was like 10 to 12 years. Yeah. Those days are over. I think the longest wait now is like 3 years.
Really?
If that, too, for some station. If you go to Lancaster and Palmdale, I have guys right now training in Palmdale. They're still on probation. In the near future, you're going to have guys literally going from the academy to patrol because custody is filling up. A lot of people want to stay in custody, which again, no, I don't have an issue with that. That's what you want to do. So I think the generation has changed, whereas for you and even for me was about, I want to get out there and show what I got. Today is more about work-life balance. Mm-hmm. And to some people that may be, oh, that's weak. But this is the generation we got. And we can't recruit from what we wish we can recruit. We have to recruit from what we have. Mm-hmm. So we have to work around that, but at the same time maintaining our tradition and maintaining our work ethic, if that makes sense.
That's a balancing act.
That is a balancing act.
Good luck with that, because Sheriff's Department needs a manpower pool. That's why all deputies used to go to patrol, so they can go back to the jails after you get certified. So if the Sheriff's Department has some major outbreak, riot, disaster, earthquake, they can grab all the guys from the jails and put them out on patrol, and they're certified, and they're legally out there. They're out there legally.
Correct.
Not going to patrol, they can't leave the jail unless they want to put them at some kind of parking structure or something. But doing patrol work in a radio car, answering calls, they can't do it. That's where
the leadership come in, and the leadership has to find a solution.
But if you don't mandatorily make them go out to patrol, I get that. I get it. There's some guys that don't want to go out.
Yes.
But when you signed that paper to go to the Sheriff's Department, that was the job. Unless you signed for a CA, that was the job. So 2 different uniforms, 2 different pays.
I agree.
2 different demands. So I understand both. I know guys that have problems or love the jails or love the schedule or love the overtime, and they're buying stuff. I
Yes.
get it. I'm not that old to understand this stuff. I know it.
And they don't have to go to court.
No court. And they got the good spot. They're working that one station or that one module, and they're good to go. I get that, getting comfortable. But we don't get comfortable. You're supposed to do what you signed up for. I signed up to go to patrol. I didn't sign up to be a jailer. I didn't want to be in the jails. I hated the jails. I did it. I did it well.
Of course.
But I didn't want to be there. I wanted to be in patrol. I knew what I was signing up for. I knew I had to start there, but that wasn't where I wanted to be. I used to say they shouldn't wear patches till we go out. I shouldn't have these patches on my shoulder. I shouldn't be wearing the same uniform as the guy pushing a car. That was me. That's me. I'm speaking for me.
Of course.
So everybody can talk.
You're speaking for a lot of people, actually.
So if you could say some deputies don't want to go out, I believe, and I'm old, I'll give me shit if you want. Be a CA, let the guys go to patrol. That's cool, because I think the guys at patrol aren't getting days off. The guys at patrol are doing doubles. The guys at patrol can't even plan for a weekend. They're so stuck with whatever happens the day in the scheduling sergeant's office is going to dictate how my weekend's going to go.
Yes.
So they're missing birthdays, they're missing weddings, they're missing everything. And I'm always going to advocate for the guy in the car, because he's the one out there doing the job I thought law enforcement was, stopping crime. I understand the jail is to keep safe, keep people in jail. I get that. But the patrol guys is the main function of the Sheriff's Department. It's crime enforcement. It's law enforcement. That's why I joined. I saw the car driving down the street on 76 in L.A. I want to do that.
I want to be that guy.
Yeah, I want to be that guy. Not at first. I want to be a fireman. But when I saw, what it would be, I go, that would be cool. I switched over, and I love it. I think I told Jim, I go, greatest decision I ever made, because I would have never lasted the fire department. Because I love you guys, but you do a lot of sitting around.
Yeah.
You're waiting for a fire. How many fires are there? Just being honest. I like the action of the Sheriff's Department. It's always something new.
Of course.
And there's always something to do. There's always a call.
Oh, I agree.
You're usually 10 calls down. I think you're right. There needs to be there needs to be a design, or somebody needs to fix the fact that you shouldn't have 2 tiers. It should be either patrol or it should be the jails. You can't tell me you join to go to the patrol, but you don't go. It's like a promise not kept, as far as I'm concerned, because it's hurting some guys. I know the jail guys don't want to be kept over. The patrol guys don't want to be kept over. So there's something that's got to be fixed there. You got to either say you're not going to patrol, and then they could do something about maybe a 2-tier in the jail. But I don't believe there's 2 departments. There should be 1 department.
Well, here's my solution, if I may.
Hey, let me hear it.
If I was to be,
I would love to hear it.
If I was to be your sheriff, and probably the one part I disagree with you. I'm just like you, by the way. I came in and I could not wait. I was so bored in custody. I got a master's degree, and then when I was done with that, I'm still bored. So I became a senior in administration. I don't know why they put me in administration, but I was there. So I understand exactly where you're coming from. But again, you have to work with the generation that you have. So here's my solution.
I get it.
Here's my solution. You do need to bring back the dual track. I believe in that. And here's why. You have deputies that go to patrol that want to be in patrol. There's nothing worse than forcing someone to do a job they don't want to do. Mm-hmm. Now, you join the sheriff's office, the sheriff's department, because you want to go to patrol. That's great. But that's not everybody.
I know.
So we have to respect that. And actually, if you look at the government code, the primary mission of the sheriff is to maintain the jails.
Yeah, I know.
So we have to take that into consideration. Bring back the dual track. You want to stay in custody, you stay in custody. But you will be trained and you will be qualified for custody. You're just not going to sit around here. You have to prove that you want to be here and that you're going to do a good job. The reason why we're paying millions every year in settlements in our sheriff's department right now. The average is about $25 million a year that goes into settlement monitoring. Think about what we can do with $25 million. Training, equipment, whatever have you. But if not, what are we doing? We're paying for these settlements. The reason for that is we don't take custody seriously. We just do not put custody in the same pedestal as we put patrol. Again, patrol is harder, in my opinion. But custody is just as important. So we got to give the people that want to stay in custody ownership. But we also have to value what they do. You want to stay in custody, become a sergeant in custody, a lieutenant in custody, a captain in custody, more power to you. We're going to train you. We're going to do our best. But I want you to show some ownership and get us out of the settlement. And then you get the guys that want to go to patrol, that want to be in patrol. That's going to make the life of the FTOs, the sergeants, the lieutenants, and the captains in patrol much easier. So that's my solution, is that we need to have the dual track. I understand a lot of people within our department are against that. They say, you lost your mind. That guy in custody should not be making the same amount as me. I agree 100%. On that one, I can help you. But I will ask the board supervisor, if I am your sheriff and I bring the dual track, I will ask, just like San Bernardino and Riverside, you make double digits more, about 10% more than what the guys in custody make, because your job is much different and it is also more hazardous. So I do believe that.
Yeah, well, step 5 and step 6. Step 6, we go out. Okay, you keep a 5, you don't go out. I get that too. But the whole complaint from the Board of Supervisors, the whole complaint from all these mandates, all these lawsuits was deputies are staying in the jail too long and they're forming these factions and they're being heavy-handed. Mm-hmm. Because they're so long, they're being institutionalized by being in there with the inmates. They're not being rotated out to patrol fast enough. Whatever their argument first was, deputies were staying in the jail too long. They're bonding and they're doing bad things because they're there too long. They're frustrated. They want to go to patrol. They're doing all these terrible things. But then Baca came out with, let them stay in the jails. I didn't understand that because the complaint was they're staying in the jails too long. Well, that was the original complaint.
Well, actually, the original complaint was, you're right. They're frustrated. They wanted to go out to patrol. But why? Because the culture was, you have to go to patrol.
Yeah.
I remember when I graduated the academy, and I'm sure it was the same for you, you're nothing until you go to patrol.
Well, you didn't sign up unless you went to patrol.
Correct. But that's not everybody. That's
everyone
what I'm
changed their mind. But just because they changed their mind isn't because we all have to change our mind because you decided I went to ODR 7 times a day instead of going in to do some push-ups.
I agree 100%. But you have to look as a leader. I think if you give custody the importance that it deserves, and again, that's what you want to do, but you're going to do it right. There's not going to be any cliques. You're not going to form whatever groups you have. You're going to show ownership, just like our guys show ownership in patrol, especially their stations. Then I believe that's going to help us get away from all these settlements because people are going to be like, this is my job for the rest of my career. Mm-hmm. More power to them.
You go in there thinking that's my job.
That's my job. I got to protect them. We don't have that right now. We tell guys, you want to be anything in this department, you have to go to a fill-in-the-blank station. And I just don't think, it hasn't been working. Don't tell me that's working.
Who signs up and says, I want to stay in the county jail? It
Not me.
Sucks in there, man. There's nobody that goes to the academy goes, when I graduate from the academy, carrying a gun, I'm driving a car, they're showing me how to do stops, they're teaching me law, to arrest people. No one signs up thinking, I'm going to stay in the jail.
I agree.
That comes when they get there and they get comfortable and they change their mind. That's the fact. They changed their mind. Nobody signed up to say I'm staying in the jail. No one. I don't care what generation. They all wanted to go to patrol because that's what the job is.
And that's what they knew, by the way.
Yes.
No one knows really, unless your dad was in custody his whole career. You never talk to someone in custody.
When you get there, you're going, I don't want to stay here.
Correct.
It stinks. Everybody's sick. You're always sick. You got a cough and you don't even know why.
Nope. You stop asking after
you just have a cough.
Days.
We call it the county cough.
Yes.
All you do is you're coughing, and I'm not sick. Why am I always coughing? It's the circulation of the air. It was the asbestos back in the day. The place is older than dirt.
Yes.
Like CJ. The newer ones are nice.
That's why deputies didn't get COVID. We were immune to it.
We had so much nasty biobacteria in our lungs because inmates, they circulate the air because it's part of security. I get it. But no one signs up and they change their mind. So if they change their mind, they should be the type to say, okay, I'm not fulfilling my obligation to why I signed up. Let me be a CA. Or there should be a path to you don't get as much money as a guy who's getting shot at.
I agree 100%.
Or stopping cars and you don't know if there's a gun in there. Look, we're seeing what's happening in the field. More violence towards our guys in the cars because they're emboldened out there now. So that guy, the jail guys, they're not going to like it. Then it's losing money. I get it. But when you sign up and you know already, you either go to patrol or you don't.
I agree.
If you decide you don't want to go, there's going to be a pay cut. There's going to be a rank structure. You're not wearing the same uniform because that guy, I know guys that bled in that uniform.
Absolutely.
I know they bleed in the jail, but I'm talking about terrible things.
It's like the guy that goes to arson gets paid way more than a detective at a station because the risks are greater.
A million times.
100%. Well, it's the same thing. A guy going to patrol is facing far more risk than a guy working at North Facility.
And they would admit it.
Correct. So like I said before, you should get minimum double digits, 10, 15%.
I agree with
something along the lines more after you finish your patrol training. But my point is this, is we can't continue putting custody down.
No. We need them.
And I'm not saying you, but in general.
No, but we need them.
And then ask, why are we paying so much money in settlements?
Yeah. Well,
$25 million. We're about to get a fifth one under the California Department of Justice because of the amazing work that Robert Luna is doing. So believe me, I just want to get out of all these settlements so that we can finally have our jails back, so that we can finally get some respect and stop wasting so much money. Like
I would love to see that. I would love to,
I have to get elected first.
See us free of that.
Yes.
Because then you can do your job. Or a sheriff can do his job. A real sheriff can do his job.
The ACLU has been in our jail since 1978.
They were there when I was there, and they didn't bug us because we did Title 15. You took care of it. Here's your 3 hot or 2 hots in the cot. Here's your, all this stuff, the medical. We took care of it.
Correct.
I didn't tell somebody you can't go to church. I was like, trustee, give him his pass, let him go to church.
Correct.
We don't care. The deputies aren't sitting there trying to make it hard for them. They're actually trying to just get through the day.
Correct.
And it's probably more so now because they don't know if they're staying another 8 or 10 or whatever because they're getting drafted when they're every other day. I got drafted all the time.
Absolutely.
It's horrible.
And NCCF right now, I believe every month you got to do 12 spots. Don't quote me. It's 10 to 12 spots.
I worked in CCF.
There you go.
In that place, they shut that salad port on you and you're like...
The watch commander asks you, when was your last double?
You. Turn around, get back in.
I'm that guy now.
Yeah. See, get out of my office.
Yeah.
Okay. I understand the jobs, and I understand the numbers have to be filled, and I understand we have minimum standards that we have to have bodies in the seats. I get it. I just wish common sense would take over, and what's been going on for 3.5 years is not even close to common sense, man. It doesn't make any sense to me because doing nothing is doing something. You're making it worse.
I agree.
Doing nothing is actually worse than doing something sometimes, but he's doing shit. He's doing nothing, and my guys are calling me, they're texting me, they're emailing me and saying what's happening, and I said, that shouldn't be happening, and don't think that's the norm. That's not the norm.
It's not.
It's just dereliction of duty.
It's not.
That's all it is.
Well, I think what happened with our department as a whole is, I think you need to go back more than 3.5 years. I believe when Sherman Block died in 1998.
That's my sheriff.
There you go. When Sherman Block died in 1998, if you look at the Sheriff's Department history all the way to 1998, we were the agency of innovation. Mm-hmm. We were the agency of foresight. I mean, we were the first ones. We did everything right.
Yep.
We were moving forward. We had scandals. Any human institution is going to have scandals. My own beloved Roman Catholic Church has been full of scandals because there are humans in it. But it was an agency that moved forward with the times. We stopped in 1998. We have not progressed since 1998, and I think that's the problem. In the last 20 years, most agencies have gone to a compressed schedule, whether it be 4 10s or 3 12s. We are the last agency, not one of the last. We are the last agency still forcing our people to work 4 8s and a double. Does that make any sense?
No.
It makes no sense, but we're locked into this sacred 480 minutes rule. And I'm like, it's a contract.
480 minutes.
So if it's a contract, we should be able to establish the terms as well with our contract agency.
Yeah.
And you explain to them, look, this is the problem. We have a shortage of law enforcement. And then I will explain to them what's called the 40 by 40 concept. By 2040, we are going to have 40% less officers than we have now. It's not going to increase. We're going to have less officers than we have now. We need to bring technology, and we need to better deploy our resources. This 5 8 is not working. We need to go to a compressed schedule. That's going to help with our deputies get more time off. And by the way, when deputies work longer hours during the day, that's going to reduce the overtime as well. But no, We're locked into this is the way it's always been done.
Why? Why do you think?
It's part of the culture. Again, I love my tradition and I love everything we have, but it's also part of the culture, like we were talking about earlier. This is your job. Shut up and do it.
Yeah.
Which is true. You don't want it. You don't want to lose that. But you also have to grow with the times.
Yes.
I'll give you a perfect example of the United States Marine Corps. My branch where I served, probably the most conservative branch in the military. The Marine Corps just started. First of all, just to go back, in the Marine Corps, boot camp is by far the crucible. Once you graduate from boot camp, you're now a Marine. Everybody has to go to boot camp. It's always been like that. Did you know that 3 years ago, the Marine Corps started taking people straight from the streets and making them majors in the Marine Corps?
No, I didn't.
Right off the bat, right off the streets. Why? They realized we need a kind of technology, a kind of education that we cannot offer right away. Okay. So let's take these guys that have the training, whether it be IT, cybercrime, whatever have you, and we're going to make them majors, mid-level managers right away. That's an innovation that no one thought the Marine Corps was going to be able to pull off. They pull it off.
Is it working?
And it's working great.
Oh, good.
It's working great. The Marine Corps now is at the forefront of the 21st century warfare. The Marine Corps got rid of tanks because they realized we don't need tanks anymore. Can you imagine a military branch saying we don't need tanks anymore? Well, it's the same thing with the Sheriff's Department. We don't want to step beyond what we've always done. And anything, we throw money at it. Go back to what I told you, $25 million a year, and it's increasing. Instead of finding the solution, what do? We're just going to put a bandage on it and move on. Right now, the Sheriff's Department pretty much told the captains of the different stations are telling their staff, you got to save on paper. We don't have money to buy paper. The largest Sheriff's Department in the world.
I've seen it.
Robert Luna, 40 years of experience, and we cannot buy, you probably got the emails from your friends. We cannot buy printer paper. So this is what's going to happen. Once the budget comes in, we're going to go back to the same way we used to, print all the papers we used to print. How about we stop printing so much paper and go electronic? Wouldn't that be the solution to the problem? You're going to have a fiscal year next year, just like you have a fiscal year now. But again, we don't think like that. No. We always keep going back to the way we've always done it, and it's just not working.
It's ridiculous.
It's pathetic.
When I filed a case, it was this high.
Got to keep an extra copy because the county always loses the
And
packets.
the printer never works. The machine never works.
Correct.
It ate my paper every time.
So again, once this fiscal problem goes away, if it ever goes away, we're going to go right back to the way we do things. And I'm like, this is where I'm running. Like, this has to stop.
Yeah.
This has to stop. And I'm personally tired of guys coming back from the dead and running for sheriff with the solutions to the same problems that they left behind and did nothing while they were in the department. It's like something's got to change. Am I the best person? No. Maybe I'm not the best person, but at least I have the ability to think there's a different way of doing things. We don't have that right now. And that's what's costing the department so much money, and we're bleeding. Personnel-wise, we're bleeding. Guys are leaving left and right. When you were in the department, no one left before 25 years.
Nope.
No one. You came in, and you were just looking forward to your retirement 25, 30 years down the road.
No one left early.
We have deputies leaving from custody to other agencies.
No one left.
No one left.
Ever.
No one. And if you did, you were not allowed to come back.
You're fired. Oh, yeah. Well, if you left the department for another department,
yes,
you could not come back.
You
but I know guys that went to other places, and they brought them right back. But I remember the rule. A certain man said it to me, and he was the boss. He said, you can't leave for another department.
Correct.
We will never take back a person who left for another department.
We can't do that anymore because we can't afford it.
We would take them right now, please.
Correct. You have a pulse, we'll take you.
I'm trying to fill that car.
Correct. Now, there is, I have to be honest here, there is nation-wise, we have an issue with recruitment. It's not just here in California and just the LA County Sheriff's Department. Nationwide, we have some serious issues with recruitment into law enforcement and the military, by the way, as well. Add to that here in LA County, we have a sheriff who's literally prosecuting his own cops. That adds to the problem that we're having.
Definitely.
So when people ask me, well, smart guy, what are you going to do about it? Well, number one, I'm going to make sure that my men and women know that I have their back when they do the right thing. You do the wrong thing, you're going to face the consequences.
As they should.
100%. But once they know, once they realize that their boss has their back, you'll be surprised how much change that's going to bring. Simon Sinek said it best. The customers will never love the company until the employees love it first. Once the men and women of the Sheriff's Department realize that they have a boss that actually supports them, then they're going to encourage other people to join. Your number one ambassador for any agency, by the way, It's the people that are currently working. You ask any deputy out there, a young man will ask any deputy out there, hey, I want to join the LA County Sheriff's Department. No. Go to Ontario Police Department.
Well, Sherman was a
Don't come
magnet.
here.
Sherman was Sherman Block. I'm going to work for Sherman Block.
I want to work for Sherman Block.
And he hired me for, I don't know, some reason. And I knew my boss was going to have my back because I heard him talk. And when they tried to come at him the same way they're coming at this guy, he didn't throw us on the fire. He said, we're going to do an investigation. We'll figure it out. And when they came at the budget stuff, he would close the jail. His
Correct.
thing was, I'm going to close the jails.
Well, as far as the investigation, he kept his mouth shut until the investigation was over.
Like every detective is supposed to do.
This man, before the investigation is over, he already has a judgment. So he goes on TV and said, this is what we're going to do. What does that do to an investigator during that investigation?
Of course.
Well, I know what I have to do now if I want to keep my job.
Yep.
And it's like, wait a minute. You say you have 40 years in law enforcement. Whether the case is criminal or administrative, you keep your mouth shut until the investigation is over. I worked in advocacy for 3 years in the Sheriff's Department. For those that know what advocacy does, we're the ones who get the case when it's over, either by IA, ICIB, IAB, whatever have you. We get the case and we help the executives reach whatever decision, because they are the decision makers, whatever decision. And we'll tell them, look, this may not work. This is not going to pass civil service, whatever have you. Most of the cases clear the deputies. Most of the cases clear, and I know you know this from your experience.
Yeah, but
but a lot of people out there, as I'm going around talking to people throughout the county, they have this belief that we are a secret society protecting bad cops. And I tell them, number one, no one wants bad cops out of the force faster than us, the good cops. I can assure you that 100%. And number two, the case is actually clear. So when I tell deputies, look, you got an admin case, just let the system work its way, and you're going to be clear at the end. When you start challenging the system, I'm innocent, screw you, the department is after me, and you lie, that's when you get in trouble. But the system is there to clear your name. And if you're guilty and you know you did it, be a man and take it.
Throw yourself on the sword.
Just be a man.
That's what we're taught to do. Throw yourself on the sword, beg for forgiveness, ask for some retraining, but you don't lie.
But the problem we have now is, again, like we were saying, you have a man wearing 5 stars already prosecuting you before the case is over.
That's weakness.
100%.
That's always going to be a weak man who can't stand by something that's common sense. There is no reason for him to get in front of the podium and throw a deputy into the fire for any reason, even if he's guilty. There is no reason for him to take sides. He's the sheriff of LA County. He doesn't answer to the board of supervisors. They're not his boss. They're only there for money. They're only there. They're the keepers of the purse. That's it.
Correct.
But he knows they gave him his job. So he's going to throw a deputy on the fire and go, look what I did. Please don't fire me, or please endorse me. So he's trying to make them happy. That's a weak man. He could easily, all you guys up there in the tower say, we're investigating. We're not going to jump the gun.
Correct.
Just like we don't jump the gun on criminals. Just like we don't jump the gun on your brother. We do process. You wouldn't want me to do that to your dad. If I pull him over, he's got to do a drunk driving test. And I got to do all this stuff to make sure he was drunk. The people behind him are going, there you go, Sheriff. Go say this. Go out there, Sheriff, and tell him how he did wrong and he did wrong and how you're going to put him in jail, how you're going to fire him. And, let me give this to the feds because I'm too weak to do it myself. That's weak. Everything is weak.
Correct.
I'm an old man. I'm an old man. I don't give a shit. It's weak. Be strong and just stand by shutting your mouth until you have something to say. My dad was real big on don't say shit if you don't have something to say.
Correct.
Don't talk just to talk. It's a nervous reaction, reflex action to go out there and just blab when you don't have to.
Or a political reaction.
Well, that's the same thing, though.
Yeah, politicians feel they always have to say something.
But they don't. He doesn't have to. He's the sheriff of the LA County. He's the sheriff of LA County. He's not a chief. I call him chief on here just because I like making fun of him. I call him chief because he's not a sheriff. But his title says he doesn't have to do that. If they don't like him, they can kick him out of office. The board of supervisors, I know they got that stupid. That's not going to hold up. You can get rid of a sheriff. But
well, actually, the board of supervisors doesn't need that to remove a sheriff. You know when was the last time the board of supervisors removed the sheriff? 1921.
I know.
100 years before the measure was passed.
That weak-ass amendment they did. He's elected by the people. Unless you want to deal with the big bosses in the robes, that ain't going to pass.
I agree.
And he knows that. But for some reason, he's scared of it. I don't understand it.
But he doesn't understand it either. And in my opinion, and I want to go back to 2022 when he ran against Alex Villanueva.
Okay.
And I remember he was the last one to file. The very last one. No one knew who this dude was. And I've been involved in politics for 10 years now, more in the conservative side. And I saw this dude comes in, he jumps in the race. A month and a half later, he has $500,000. And I said to myself, that's the one we got to watch out for. Mm-hmm. And I remember I told some people, you guys got to watch out for Luna. They told me, Oscar, please, no one knows who this guy is. Alex Villanueva is going to win the primary. And I'm like, okay, this dude came in.
It's always the money.
$500,000 later, he's not saying anything. He has not campaigned. He has not said anything. That means someone tapped him in the shoulder and said, you're it.
You're going to be it.
Sit down. Keep your mouth shut. We're going to buy you a new suit, and we'll tell you what to say. He came out during one of the debates wearing a mask, not saying anything. And I'm like, you got to watch out for this guy. And people laughed at me.
You did.
He's the sheriff now. He's the sheriff now. Well, he's supposed to be the sheriff now. Let me correct myself there.
He sits in the office.
He sits in the office. Yeah. Well, from what I heard, he doesn't go to the office that often either.
Yeah, I don't expect much from that guy.
But my point is this. I am running because I believe our department needs to move into the 21st century. Mm-hmm. Keep a lot of our traditions. Live those traditions, just like we did. We were the first agency that brought an Aero Bureau. Mm-hmm. We were one of the agencies that really took the K-9 program and expanded it. LAPD, got to give them credit, they invented SWAT. We made it better, SAB. So we are that agency of innovation, and we have lost that. Mm-hmm. I'm not running to fix the mental health problem, the homeless problem, or to fix LA County. I'm not. I'm running to make the LA County Sheriff's Department better. Like I said before, not only am I tired of guys coming in from the dead telling us that they have the solutions to the problems they left behind, but I'm also tired of people running saying, I'm going to make the county better. You're not going to make the county better. Your job is to be the sheriff, to make the Sheriff's Department better so that we can provide the top-notch service we once provided to our contract cities.
Amen.
That's why I'm running to be sheriff.
Amen. And I hear it all. And
again, I'm not saying I don't care about the mental health problem.
No.
But take a Jim Cooper, the sheriff of Sacramento County Sheriff's Department. A great man. I'll definitely either try to get him on the phone or talk to him. Probably one of the best sheriffs in California. And he's a Democrat, by the way. But one of the best sheriffs. And he said, we are done going to mental health calls. Why? It's not that I don't care. Our deputies no longer have the qualified immunity they once have after the Ninth Circuit decision.
Yep.
So this is not a law enforcement problem. That's not our job. If there's a crime or a third person in danger, 100%, we're going to do what we do. We're going to knock down that door. But at the end of the day, our job is crime fighting. Mm-hmm. Everything else is secondary to that.
Yeah.
So I want to explain that to people. It's not that I'm trying to be heartless.
No.
But at the end of the day, law enforcement is for law enforcement. We cannot solve every single problem. Just like the United States cannot be the policeman of the world, law enforcement cannot be the solution to all the problems that the politicians created themselves, if that makes sense.
No, it makes 100% sense. If you don't take away the money from the mental health stuff, that's not going away. And it's not a sheriff's department thing unless you're getting into fraud.
Correct.
And I wish we can get into that because fraud is still against the law.
100%.
It happens in LA County. We have a fraud. We have a fraud unit.
I think LA County is probably the epicenter in California. Well, maybe San Francisco is first. We're second.
We have forgery fraud.
We do, but here's the thing. Oscar Martinez is your sheriff, and I start open investigation in whether it be any other public entity or even the state of California regarding fraud. What is Attorney General going to do the next day?
He's going to squash it.
He's going to shut it down.
Yeah.
So I will be lying to you if I'm saying to you, I'm running for sheriff and I'm going to remove all the fraud from LA County. That's not going to happen.
It's like when the guys were calling me saying they were stopping, Gascon was stopping the 186.22. He's not going to file the enhancement on the gang enhancement. And I said, why not? He goes, he doesn't believe it.
He doesn't believe in that.
I said, okay, fine. I did OSS 11 years. File it. Just file it. Mm-hmm. Let him reject it.
Let him say no.
Get the reject. It better say Gascon said so.
Correct.
Because it better not be that I don't have enough for the enhancement. It better be because my boss said no. Mm-hmm. And you take that over and give it to the victim and say, sue his ass. Because I can file on the guy who shot your son I can enhance him and keep him in prison longer because he's starting to come back and get you. But Gascon doesn't want to do the enhancement. And it's not because of any legal term. It's because he doesn't like them.
Political.
So take that to any lawyer, and I'll give you 4 more. He keeps rejecting them. My whole team's going to write them. That would end the next day.
And it did. It did during the election.
But look at what happened.
See what happens?
But how many years were the guys not filing them? Because they
4
thought,
years, yeah.
they thought, oh, he's not going to file it, so I'm not going to do it.
Correct.
It's the same thing with the fraud. How many do you have to do? How many do you have to do? Guys, I'm sorry, it's going to be work. Nothing's easy when you have to fight for these things.
Oh, with the white-collar crimes, correct me if I'm wrong, probably the hardest crimes to actually investigate properly, get the evidence, and get it to be filed.
Well, the thing with those going in the stores and stealing all the stuff. There are four people loading bags up and walking out.
Smash and grabs.
And I walked into a store one time and it happened. And I'm watching this little cashier try to stop them. And I'm like, okay, do I have to do something here? And she grabbed the bag from another little girl and she pulled the bag and they ran out. And I said, okay, that's a robbery. That's not a petty theft.
No, robbery.
Robbery. Now, you can't touch me or I'm going to kick your ass. That's a robbery. Okay. No money. That's a burglary. These are all felonies.
I agree.
So I can't do anything about it because it's not up to the threshold. It's only petty theft. And then you can't do petty theft with the prior. I hate excuses. You have to work around these things. Just look at the tape and say, okay, yeah, I might have something, but maybe I do. All you need is force or fear to jack it up to the 211. All you need is intent, movement towards the cashier. They just went straight to the door. Mm-hmm. And when you catch them, they have no money in their pocket. I'm doing burg all day long, man.
I agree.
Now I got a felony on them. Instead of we're not doing it. No one cares. I hate that shit.
Well, I'm running for sheriff, so I have to have a solution to almost every problem now. So here's my solution: is absolutely the fraud is an issue, but the sheriff alone is not going to be able to do it. I always tell people you got to elect Michael Gates Attorney General. Mm-hmm. Michael Gates is running to be the next Attorney General of the state of California. And that man right there, I'm telling you, fraud in California will end within 4 to 5 years. Not right away. It's going to take some work. But having Michael Gates as your Attorney General, having someone like me as sheriff with the will to do that, to go after the fraud that's happening, 100%. But I always tell people, right now, Luna's not going to do it. But let's say some sheriff out there, Chad Bianco, decides to look into some irregularity, possibly some fraud, the Attorney General is going to step in right away, which is his authority, by the way. That's not like, I'm the sheriff, I'm going to do whatever I want. You have to follow the law. The Attorney General is going to shut it down. So the solution is you got to elect a sheriff that's willing to go after the fraud, but you also have to think about your Attorney General. Of course. Michael Gates is by far the best solution that we have for Attorney General.
A lot of pieces have to fall into place.
Correct.
Or else they're just going to be pieces by themselves and they can't get anything done. We know that. I mean, we're not naive. Know how California works.
No, but you do have some candidates out there saying, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to end fraud. That's not happening. That's not happening. So I'm not going to lie to you just because I want your vote. It can happen, but you got to elect a new Attorney General. And if you want a different board of supervisors, you got to elect a different board of supervisors. The sheriff cannot check the board of supervisors. The board of supervisors cannot check the sheriff. You want a different board of supervisors? You got 2 seats right now, one open, one being contested. You need to elect different people. Anywhere in government, whether it be city council or the board of supervisors, you have to vote. The problem with conservatives, we don't vote. Mm-hmm. We don't vote.
It's true.
2024.
But they'll complain.
2024 presidential election, the United States president, only 40% of Republicans in the state of California voted.
But they'll complain whine and
that's the problem.
Scream at them, hell at the moon.
Well, some of that it's our fault, the conservative movement. Here's why.
Some of it's them, this type of conservative.
Correct. Because for the last 10 years, we have been saying fraud. Election, fraud. You vote, doesn't matter, doesn't count. There's fraud. So these people started believing it. Like, okay, well, there was the point of me voting. Yeah. So if you look at my social media, I'm constantly telling people, and there's going to be another video today, you got to get out there and vote. Mm-hmm. Most elections in the state of California are won with 3 to 5%. That's it. In my district, I live in Santa Clarita, not this election, 2 elections ago, the Republican candidate lost the election by 230 votes. And you have about 25,000 Republicans that did not vote.
Santa Clarita.
In Santa Clarita.
That
Santa
thing-
Clarita is actually purple. It's not as red as people think it is.
Santa Clarita is
It's
all
actually
cops.
purple. Cops don't vote. That's the problem, my friend.
Then don't complain, guys.
There you go.
Don't complain. I don't want to hear your complaints. Because if everyone voted common sense, it wouldn't be close.
And there should be no issue now because everybody gets a ballot. Whether you want to or not, everybody gets a ballot. Now, I know not everybody likes mailing ballots. I understand that. But that's the system we have in place. Get in power, and then we can change the rule. You have to work, you said it well, you have to work around the system and make it happen. Make it happen. Even Donald Trump, who was all against mailing ballots, is telling people, send your ballot as soon as possible. So I think that's something people need to remember. You have to vote. If not, nothing is going to change.
The problem with LA is the person the ballot came to doesn't want to vote, and their nephew or niece is going to fill it out. They get 12 ballots to 12 people in the house. I grew up in the neighborhoods. I'm not disparaging. I know what's there. These are my family, friends. One person in the house is going to take them all and say, what are we voting for? Because the other ones aren't engaged.
They're not engaged, correct.
At all. And so whoever that person is who has the power of the house, who speaks English or who went to college, or they're grabbing Abuela and everybody, and they're like, okay, we're doing this. And that's what's happening. That's just what's happening.
So ballot harvesting actually works. Make it happen. So this is what you do, especially cops. Because if anybody knows what's going on in the world right now, are cops. I tell them, do some ballot harvesting. Grab your best bottle of wine, bring the ballots. It's illegal for me to fill in the ballot for you, but I can help you. Here's a list. This is what a list. You have your list of people you want to vote for, people you recommend. Oscar Martinez for sheriff, no one else, just me right there for sheriff. And you fill it out. Or you can, hey, you guys do the judges. You guys do the state assembly.
But that's another thing, judges. They're the most powerful.
Look at my social media. But I have the list of recommendation who to vote for.
Your list, I've seen a few, and I love it. I love it. But we don't do that. We should be. Here's people like I see water, power, education, all these stuff. I don't have any clue who these people are.
No,
but we should do a better job of steering our people towards the right common sense people, not bad people, common sense people that are going to help the community, help the community, help the law enforcement, and help people just do their jobs.
I agree. Never vote by the party.
No.
I'm telling you that. Don't vote just because somebody's a Republican. Don't vote just because someone is a Democrat. Look at the candidate. Vote for the candidate. When it comes to the judges, get ready for this. Most people don't even know you can elect judges.
I know.
They don't. So I tell them, look,
That's crazy.
there's a lot of lists out there. Greg Hewitt probably makes the best list. I tell them, I made my list this year. Here's my recommendation. But I got to be honest. It is sad. I mean, the people that are running to be judges, they're far, far left. So I picked the one closest to the center as I could to help people out. Now, you're more than welcome to choose whoever you want. But I want people to be engaged. And you brought up the water and power or whatever have you, the water board, utility board, depending where you live. Don't overlook those districts. Don't overlook those elections.
They're important.
It's great to know who the congressman is, the congressman, congresswoman, obviously the president. But your city council, your water, your school board, those are the elections that matter the most. And your sheriff's election. Those local elections are the one who make or break our community. I always tell people when I go out there and talk to them, the United States is the only country in the entire world that allows you to vote for the man or the woman with a badge and a gun enforcing the law. There is no other country in the world. It is a privilege that you as American have. Enjoy that privilege.
For sure.
And use it.
For sheriff.
For sheriff. No other country in the world allows you to pick the man or the woman who's going to enforce the law.
That makes sense.
And very few countries allow you to pick the judge. Mexico did it this year for the very first time in its history. Really? The very first time. And they had like 600 judges to elect. You in LA County only have, I believe it's only 14 this year. Get out there and vote. Submit your ballot. I want everybody that's listening, whenever this comes out, by the end of the day, please submit your ballot.
Yeah. There's a lot more to say about that, and I get in trouble. But I
it's your show. You can't get in trouble.
I advocate for. I don't believe in the correct surname, the correct color, the correct this, correct that. It's got to be what they're saying.
Yes.
Is that going to help me and my children and my grandchildren? Not. I hate that we're very loyal to certain things.
Yes.
And we got to get out of that and stop electing people that aren't in your best interest. by how they and pick the people that might not look like you, but they're going to do something good for you.
Correct.
And I'm trying to walk that line, but it's true. I've seen a lot of that loyalty, blind loyalty, and I have family members that are, no, we have to do this, and I'm like, no, man, they've done nothing for you. It's like I've made a reference to, if I hire somebody to mow my lawn and he doesn't mow my lawn, I'm not going to hire him to mow my lawn again. He doesn't show up.
I like that.
Or my lawn looks like shit. I don't say, man, can you come back and mow it again? Terribly. I just don't do that. You don't buy things. You don't do these things. You don't give people second chances if they don't come through for you. But they do it every voting season.
There's too much information out there. So, like I said, I've been involved in politics in the Republican Party probably for the last good 10 years. But I always tell people, don't vote just because no one is a Republican. Look at the candidate. There's a lot of Republicans who are not really conservative.
It's true.
Okay, there's a lot of Democrats who are not Democrat. They're socialist.
Mm-hmm.
So I always tell them, look at the candidate. If you remember about 3 years ago where the Democrats in Sacramento wanted to make it a misdemeanor for someone to sell a 15-year-old girl for sex. Instead of a felony, they wanted to make it a misdemeanor. They didn't need your input. They didn't need to ask anyone. They have a supermajority. They could have passed it. But what happened? The Own Life movement started and told people, you need to call your representative. You need to stop this. This is what they're trying to do. Even people that have voted Democrat their entire life, because that's what they do, no matter who's on the ballot, like you said, they vote for the Democrat, said, wait a minute, that's not what I voted for. Like, what do you mean? Sell a 15-year-old girl and you get a ticket? Absolutely not. Start making the phone calls. They start writing the letters. They start sending the emails. And what happened? They backed down. They kept that as a felony. But it goes to show that your vote, your voice matters.
To me,
and
that's
it can
a
make
failure,
a difference.
though. That's a test. Let me see if we could sneak this by.
Yes.
And they didn't do a supermajority because they wanted them to vote for it, not knowing what it was. And they could say, we didn't vote for it. You did.
You did.
And that's all it is. We're not.
It goes to show. But it also shows, I want to bring back 2024, the election. We talked about George Moscone, how we removed them from power, right? Also Prop 36. Prop 36, that's the one that removed a lot of the misdemeanors from Prop 47 in 2013. In the state of California, liberal California, Proposition 36 passed by 71%. That's about 10 million people that say, yes, we want Prop 36 to pass. There's only 5 million Republicans in the state of California. That means 5 million liberals and or Democrats voted to enhance penalties from Prop 47. It goes to show public safety will go across every area of politics. People want to feel safe. Mm-hmm. Whether they want to feel safe to go to West Hollywood at 2 a.m. and do what they do, or they want to feel safe to go to Sunday Mass every Sunday. It doesn't matter. No matter your politics, you need public safety. Public safety is an area we can win.
Yeah.
It should not be about politics.
Presentation, though. Who's presenting it? Who's
Correct.
telling us about it?
Correct.
And it doesn't get enough circulation when it's something like that. People don't want to fight for that. And they're not putting money into, let's tell people. It's usually word of mouth. And social media is great now.
Social media is great, yes.
Without social media, oh my God, this place would be on fire.
I won't be here.
No, we don't. We'd all be on fire.
I won't be here. The establishment will never even try to entertain a guy like me. Like, what do you mean no politics, just public safety? Everything is politics. You can see that today on the Robert Luna. I mean, that's as political as you can get. I don't think since John Klein was removed by the board in 1921, I don't think there's been a sheriff more controlled by politics than this man is.
Absolutely.
So it goes to show that we can make a difference, but we have to get out there and vote.
LA County, that's where I grew up. That's my stomping grounds, all of it. I want the people to understand this is important to them. That's why I'm doing these election ones, because I want people to empower themselves and say, stop voting against yourself.
Yes.
Stop voting against your children. Do you like walking down the street and tripping over a tent? Yeah. Do you trust your children walking to school in the morning? You can't do any of these things. Well, there's a reason. The people right now don't give a shit about you. They're not doing anything to help you. Mm-hmm. They could stop it. They could tell Luna right now, no more shit in the street. Start towing the 72 hours. No more blocking the sidewalk. The guy doing the fentanyl, arrest him for influence. Clean my street.
Yes.
And it wouldn't take anything, because all you'd take was 10 and the rest would leave.
Correct.
And the people that are in the street aren't Californians.
No.
They're from all over the country, because California is giving them all this free shit with your tax money. saying we're helping them. How does giving them a pipe help them?
No, it doesn't.
How does giving them needle exchange help them? But you're voting for it. You're voting for it. The people you're voting for are saying, I'm going to take your tax money and we're going to do outreach. Outreach is the worst word I've ever heard. Outreach is emboldening or supporting their problems or commit to their problem. Using drugs isn't a normal thing. Using drugs in public isn't a normal thing. But you've made it normal because you walk by it every day.
Correct.
And you could change it. You could say, who's in power right now? Why is this here? Again, hiring the guy that doesn't mow my lawn.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. You're gonna get your ballot, and your niece is gonna fill out the same name of the guy who's letting this happen in your neighborhood. You can stop it. Do some research. Do it in Spanish if you have to. Figure out who's gonna clean up my street and let my grandkids play in the front yard, and vote for them. I don't care who it is. Just figure out who that person would be. The best chance. The best person for the job that you think needs to be done.
Yes.
It's not hard. It's kind of like taking time. But how important is it to you? You live there.
For a lot of people, as I've gone around the county talking to people, a lot of people actually don't put the nexus together between their vote and their way of life. That's a big problem. That's a huge problem. So to them, when you mention, and I have people, believe it or not, I have people when I talk about the homeless problem, the drugs out in the streets, and I say, you need to vote for a different mayor and a different city council. Well, it doesn't matter because of Trump. It's like, the cop in me want to say, you're an idiot. But now, as a politician, I have to explain to them, this has nothing to do with Trump. This has nothing to do with ICE. This has nothing to do with the federal government. This has to do with the same people, the same ideas that we keep electing every 4 years, expecting a different result.
It's insanity.
That's the problem.
Definition of insanity.
Correct. So you explain it to them, and believe it or not, they actually get it. They actually like, wait a minute, you're right. So, for example, the fires, and Karen Bass still is getting hammered, rightly so, for her failures during the fires. I mean, she's just getting hammered every day on the news. And I tell people, yeah, that's great. Do you know the board supervisor is in charge of Altadena? Where's that outreach there? Yeah, when are you going to hold them accountable as well?
They're going like, look at her, don't look at us.
No, they're going like, no, this is exactly what I get most of the time. What does the board supervisor do?
No, I mean, the board of supervisors is saying, thank God we have a Karen Bass.
Yes.
It's like that bad recruit in the academy. Like, thank God he's in trouble because I'm not. You want it going that way.
Oh, no, that was the quickest breakup I've ever seen. Lindsay Horvath and Karen Bass, who were best friends, now don't even talk to each other. It goes to
look at her,
show.
Don't look at me.
Correct.
That's exactly what's happening, and it's the same people.
The same people. We keep electing the same people over and over again and expecting different results. Insanity. But you have to educate people. Like when I was talking about selling a 15-year-old girl for sex. We didn't attack the politician. We didn't attack the party. We attacked the ideas. We attacked the issues. And then people will understand that. When it comes to the Hispanic community, most Hispanics vote Democrat. And you ask them why. Why do you vote Democrat? Well, that's what we always done. That's the way it's always done. Well, it goes back because that's what the unions told you to vote 3 generations ago. And we continue going. But that was a different union back then. That was a different party establishment back then. JFK will be a right-winger today.
He wouldn't be a Democrat even close.
So again, it goes back to informing people. Like, look, this is, if you look at the values, for lack of a better term, the values of the left do not align with the Hispanic community, which is traditionally a very traditional culture.
It's opposite.
It's the complete opposite.
It's nuclear family.
But that's what they vote for.
But they vote for it blindly, and I'm saying they're voting against themselves.
Correct.
And it's lack of education, it's lack of knowledge, it's lack of doing some research. And it's acting like it's going to get better by magic. I don't know what. It's going to get better. And people get used to shit.
They do.
They do. You know, it's just the way it is. This is the way it always is. It's fine. I'm cool in my house. Nobody bothers me. The thing of, when I'm home, I don't get shot. I'm good. We're home. Wait, how come you can't go outside? Well, because I'll get shot. But if we stay in the house, we're okay. But we stay in the house.
So if you go outside, it's your fault.
Yeah. You know what? It's okay. We're fine. This is a nice neighborhood. We know to stay in the house. I know not to wear jewelry when I walk down the street, because I'll get robbed.
Yes.
So I don't wear jewelry. So it's okay because I won't wear the jewelry to get me robbed.
Correct.
But instead, you should be thinking, I should be able to wear jewelry walking down the street. I should be able to go out at night and go through a drive-through and not worry about who's coming up behind my car. Because these things aren't normal things. And I always say it. You think that's normal. It's not.
It's not.
I will take you to Seaman Valley. Let me take you to some nice area of Santa Monica Hills. They don't deal with any of this. Why are they living this life and you're living that life?
Well, that's where politicians are really good at, LA County politicians, if I may say, from both the Republican and the Democrat side, they normalize things.
Yes.
Everything always starts, they always follow the same three phases. Number one, well, it doesn't matter. No, excuse me. Number one, that's not happening. You're wrong. That's not happening.
Conspiracy theories.
Number two, well, it doesn't affect you. Mm-hmm. And then finally, number three, if you don't like this, you're racist. Whatever the issue is.
That's the playbook right there.
Whatever the issue is, you're racist.
Yeah.
So you bring the smash and grabs, right? But first, well, that's not really happening. Then the TV, and especially X, after Elon Musk took over, started showing it. So number two was, well, it doesn't affect you. Well, it does affect me. My son loves Legos. He can't go to Walmart anymore and look at the Legos.
Yes,
it's behind a locked glass door. Now I have to wait for someone to come, if they ever decide they want to come, open this, and my son can only see it. He cannot even touch it because they think we're going to run away with it, right? And if I bring that up, number three, I'm a racist. And he's like, I didn't say anything about race. So they have normalized the behavior that we have come to accept as reality. And you're right. That's not the way it's supposed to be. We are in a civilized country. We are supposed to be in a first world country. I should be able to take my kids to the park without stepping among needles and homeless people. But again, we have normalized that, and that's the problem.
Yep.
We need to change that mentality and get people to go out there and vote their values, not against their values.
We have a lot of first generation, and there's a reason why they came here. My relatives, my family came here for a reason. They left something. And usually they left something that wasn't good, or else they wouldn't have left. There's money or crime or whatever. There's a reason. To pack up your whole family. Just think of packing up your whole family and leaving.
With a backpack.
And not knowing what's going to happen once you get there.
Yes.
And it's a very huge risk.
Yes.
So they come here, and I used to say, you came here for a reason. Stay looking for that reason. Don't think you have to live close to what you were living in because that's where you belong. Like, this is my area. I feel comfortable. Like, I have relatives who never spoke English because in their neighborhood,
no one spoke English.
So they passed away speaking only Spanish, and they were here 50 years.
Correct.
Because they don't leave their bubble because they're comfortable in that area. But it's crime-ridden, and it's dirty, and there's lots of drugs, and there's problems. That's as far as they got. And I'm saying they stopped short.
Yes.
You could have kept going, and you could have assimilated to something better. Your children, at least your children, could have done that. And sometimes they do. But if you came here with an image, don't stop at something that's not what you came here for. It's not the goal. Always try more. And I hate that thing where they're thinking this is it. They're not. I'm sorry because it's bad. They're better than that.
Correct. I agree.
And I think they should keep trying. And I think that they do themselves a disservice just settling for what's in front of them and not trying to make it better. Because let's just say I can't afford leaving my neighborhood. This is all I can afford. You don't have to live in villas. You don't have to live in crime. You don't have to. I know it's there, but there's a way to fix it.
Yep.
That person that's in charge of the problems you're seeing can be removed. And maybe you're the person that's going to run for that office. Maybe she's going to run for the office. You can beat these people. You see school boards all the time that do these stupid things against your children. The school board, who doesn't have any kids in your school, making decisions for your kids. And then you see the parents come up and they're going, well, we don't listen to you. We don't care. They're our kids once they pass these doors. That's not true. And then they become the school board members. Now they change it.
Correct.
And it's now that stuff that was happening is not happening. So it's possible. It's possible. And if you said, I'm going to take over the city of Maywood. I'm going to be the mayor of Maywood.
Good luck with that.
I know. Let's say I did it.
Good luck with
that. Picking up Huntington Park or Bell. I'm going to be the mayor of that city. I can have my police force do their job. Mm-hmm. Hey, can you just do your job? Don't be heavy-handed. Don't go hurt anybody that doesn't need to be forcefully taken to jail if they're committing crimes. Do your job effectively.
And we'll back you up.
You watch that city, whatever city it is, and sometimes it might just be street vendors. It might be something that's people in the neighborhood can play. Remember Cops Team?
Yep.
What was the number one complaint of all the cops team? It was street vendors.
Yes.
Every time you did it, we had people that don't know. Cops team was community-oriented policing, and we had to knock on every single door in every street in our area, thousands, and we had to take a survey.
The little survey.
What bothers you?
Yeah.
What bothers you? What is your concern? And we were trying to address the concerns of the people in their little street, like their little 5-block street. I don't like that he parks on his lawn. I don't like that she has chickens. I don't like this. This is what bothered them individually, and everybody had different concerns. But the number one thing was street vendors.
Yep.
I hate that paleta man's ringing his bell at 2 a.m. I'm talking about this is true. It wasn't me.
No, I got you.
And then I don't like that the lady sets up her cart in front of my house and she cuts up fruit. I don't like it. And you told her, move, or you can't do that. But you saw the truck pull up on the corner and drop off 50 of them, and they went in the neighborhood. Some people enjoy going to get some food. Some people don't. So you had to address them. Everybody has different concerns, but it made all the difference when you did it. Like, hey, man, you can't do that. You can't drop the oil in the curve when you're doing your oil change. They're going to give you a ticket, and they stopped doing it. Who told that I was doing that? You never tell them.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
But when you hear from that person, thank you. That little thing makes a difference. So take what bothers you and figure out why it's bothering you and figure out who's responsible for it and make a difference. Change your vote. You might not get a change, but change your vote. Tell your neighbor, change your vote. This guy's not doing it, change your vote. This guy over here, I did some research. He's going to fix my problem. Broken window.
The broken window theory. Absolutely.
It works.
But the problem is, not only are we making those people feel comfortable to be where they're at.
Talk to us.
Correct. We also vilify the police as well. And that's one of the biggest aspects in the last 15 years, more so the last 10 years, actually goes back 15, where politicians, for the first time in history, are vilifying the cops.
Yep.
Before, you could not win in California without the backing of law enforcement. Now it's the opposite. You don't want law enforcement. You don't want law enforcement backing you. So we have vilified the cops. We made the good guys to be the bad guys, and we made us, the politicians, to be the good guys. And
But does it work? Does it work?
Correct.
Because the people in the neighborhood, when you talk bad about the cops, they go, you know what? What they're going to do is they're going to associate with their own.
Correct.
When I got stopped, he was cool. I don't believe that. When my son got arrested, they were actually nice to him and they helped him, and we got him out of jail. My brother-in-law is always in jail. He's a dope addict. I hate cops. There's people that have personal experiences with cops. So when they hear that rhetoric over and over, they're going to go no matter what.
I agree.
They're going to go no matter what. Because there's a lot of people out there that don't believe they have bad relatives. And they're going to protect them even though they're deep down inside they know they're rotten.
Of course.
We all have them. Where, I'm not going to defend this guy because I know he's always doing stupid shit. But there's some people who be like, it's a cop's fault. It's a cop. Or it's
100%.
Trump's fault.
Because it's normal to say that now. Whereas before, especially in the Hispanic culture, no, it's your fault.
Yeah.
That cop is not out there looking for you. You made this happen.
You were the one stealing the car.
Correct. But you still have, to this day, if you look at the latest Gallup poll, policing, law enforcement is one of the top 3 most trusted institutions in the United States. So you always have small business and the military. They're 1 and 2. They go back and forth. Policing is number 3. Law enforcement has more trust in the United States than the church.
Really?
Think about that. It's in the latest Gallup poll. You can look it up. The bottom 3, president, Congress, and the media. So you have the bottom 3, not so much the bottom 3, but one of them, the media, telling you that one of the most trusted institutions is not trusted by anyone. So when I'm out there and people tell me, what are you going to do about trust in law enforcement? I'm like, well, I think it's doing great. I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm going to, if anything, market that. And they don't believe me. And then I show them in my iPad, I show them the poll. I'm like, that's not what the politicians are telling us. They're like, because they're at the bottom 3.
How many times did they lie to you, ma'am, sir? Do you believe what happened to we don't believe the government?
Exactly.
And now it's everything the government says you to do, and I'm not going to mention things, you are lining up to do, when it used to be question the government, don't follow the government. The government's out for themselves. Every bad decision's ever been done in the world is because of a politician.
I agree.
Generational empires, different civilizations.
You didn't even finish the sentence before you say, do you think the government should? No. That was just no.
No.
The answer is no.
No. As soon as
Today's
you said
the
government,
opposite.
you're like, no.
But again, like you said before, we have made it normal to be where you at and you have no choice. That's not America.
No.
That's not who we are. I posted not too long ago where I said, America is not a socialist country. I don't know where all this socialists, all of a sudden are coming out,
colleges,
running for office. I'm like, We're not a socialist country. That's
No.
not who we are. This country did not become great because of socialism. We became great because we were fighting socialism. So don't try to normalize socialism in the United States. That's not who we are, whether it be economic or faith-wise.
Republic.
We are a republic, a representative republic. It may not seem that way all the time because we don't vote, but it is there. The system is there for us to use. And my fear is that we're going to lose that with every election that passes.
True. We're getting further and further away.
Correct.
And that's,
Correct.
And that's sad. But I think the only saving thing is if people make decisions now, fix it, or something terrible happens. Because every time something terrible happens, we come together again.
9/11.
It kind of pulls us back. And I remember when I first got to the department, an old timer told me, it goes in waves, kid.
Yes.
Goes in waves where they like us, they hate us, they like us, they hate us. And it's the like us part is when something's so bad that they need you and they recognize what you really do.
Correct.
And the politicians will always lie and manipulate and cheat to get elected and get more money. And if it's on the back of people doing their job because they're talking bad about our military. And unless you stood a post, you don't have the right to criticize anybody.
Yes.
Law enforcement, same thing. It's the same thing. Unless you stood out there at 2 o'clock in the morning like I have in the middle of nowhere taking bad people out of your neighborhood, you don't get a vote on how I do my job because I'm affecting the rest to help you.
Correct.
How I do it is the safest way for me at the moment. So you don't get the money more than a quarterback. I hope you and more people like you can get people to start do what's best for you, not for the politician. Don't follow blindly these people off the cliffs.
Correct. But, and again, this is, when it comes to public safety, this is one of the jobs for the sheriff. I want to say, first of all, I've proven that I'm not a follower. I'm running against my boss. Like, he's literally still my boss right now, and I'm running against him. So,
and I said on the way over here, I said, he's got big ears. Big move, bro.
But listen, at the end of the day,
Big
you
move.
have to take risk.
Yeah.
You have to take risk.
And I respect that.
And we were trained, by the way. That's how we were trained. When you go out on patrol, you got to take risks.
Absolutely.
Dude, I want to go through that door hearing the screams. No, I'm scared. But I'm going to go through that door because someone in there needs help.
Needs help.
That's just the way it is. So I took the risk because that politics that you've been talking about is sipping into law enforcement. Law enforcement is the last entity in government that's still responsive to we the people. You call the IRS, you're not going to get a live person. It's in the rule. I looked it up. You're not going to talk to a live person. You try to get a permit from fill in the blank city, it will probably happen within 6 to 9 months. You call 911 at 2 in the morning or 2 p.m., someone's going to answer that phone. It is the last entity of government that's still responsive to we the people. And I notice, especially under this clown of a sheriff that we have, that politics is sipping into law enforcement. And I said to myself, I fought 2 wars for this country. There's no way in hell I'm going to sit by and let this happen. So it's a risk that I know it's a huge risk, but I'm going to take it because I don't want my children to grow up in L.A. I'm in Santa Clarita. I don't want Santa Clarita to become L.A.
It's the LA.
But we have to take that risk. We have to stop sitting down and waiting for someone to fix the problem. I did that, actually. I waited, and here comes the election again. And like I said before, some guy that worked in the 1980s is going to come in that has absolutely no knowledge of what's happening today and have the solutions that we need. That's not happening. I'm done. I'm going to go out there and fight for it. But my point is this. That's where the sheriff comes in when he talks about public safety. That's his job, to go out there and tell the powers that be what's happening in the world. That's why the sheriff is elected. So you have the freedom to state what the problems are, whether it's beneficial politically or not. That's your job. We have a sheriff right now that, unless he's prosecuting a deputy, he doesn't even tell us what's going on.
He's what do you call it, vacant. But
Correct.
But Baca, Alex, all of them are elected, so you're considered a politician. But the only time you felt political is this guy.
Correct. 100%.
It was separate. It was law enforcement first, yeah, and he ran it every 4 years. It was like a side thing. And when it came to the Board of Supervisors, they stayed in their lane, and he stayed in his lane. He provided security for their constituents, meaning all the city or county, and they stayed in their lane. Here's your budget, fight over it, whatever. But they didn't mix. Once the Board of Supervisors says, "Oh, we can control law enforcement," I don't think I know why they did it, but I don't think they realized how much damage they were going to do by mixing those two entities. They should be separation of powers, just like our government. You're not supposed to mix together. You're not supposed to choose the sheriff. The sheriff is supposed to be somebody impartial to you. I think that's when they stepped over. And this guy let him in the door. He let him in and he set up shop. And then his worst problem is he doesn't have any advocates that understand what's going on. He doesn't have anybody around him that knows what's going on. And he brought his old staff, or he brought his old buddies instead of trying to figure out what the sheriffs are. Because, let's just say he won. I want him to be successful. I want him to do well. I want my department to thrive.
Because you want the department to succeed.
I want my department more than ever. So I don't care who it is. But he came in and just did the opposite part.
Here's where I disagree in one part that you said. And because I know a lot of people, especially in the department, it's always the board supervisor's fault. I disagree with that because there's some internal problems that we can fix culturally and logistically that we can fix to make our department better. At the end of the day, if the board supervisor wanted to take over law enforcement, they can do it. Without any votes or anything, they can do it. They can take the jails away from the sheriff. They can take the contracts from the sheriff, create the county police, and have full control. So I disagree that the board supervisor wants to control the sheriff's department.
But is controlling the sheriff's
department. Well, here's why. Number one, you can go right now, anybody can go to the board supervisor's website. They have 9 priorities. It's right there. Not black and white. It's actually very nice, shiny colors. 9 priorities from something about racism to something about saving and hugging trees to the 3 sacred cows of liberalism. Criminals, illegal aliens, and homelessness. Nothing about public safety. Public safety is not a priority to them. It's not. The reason why the board supervisor went so hard against the sheriff is because of Alex Villanueva when he was sheriff, when he was coming up with nicknames, insulting them, whatever have you. I don't need to tell you that the board supervisor is a bunch of idiots if you want to believe they're a bunch of idiots. You already know that. I don't need to have a press conference every day about how I don't have a budget. You already know that. So they stepped in because they felt like, okay, we got to shut this guy down. But they didn't realize the monster that they created. You're right. They put Luna in power. I do agree with that 100%. But I disagree that they want to control law enforcement. They want an independent sheriff. So when something goes wrong, they can say, it's his fault. It's not our fault. It's his fault. I think the board supervisors themselves didn't realize how much of an idiot this man is. I think they brought him in, keep your mouth shut, but then they realize, oh my God, this is bad. But the greatest blessings to Robert Luna's reelection is Alex Villanueva coming back to the race. Because what did that do? It galvanized the left to get behind Luna again. They were hoping for someone better that was finally going to fix the problem. Because at the end of the day, the board supervisor, it's about the money. It's all about the budget. And they realized that the sheriff's department is bleeding. I mean, bleeding millions of dollars. This man is as ineffective as you can get. But when they saw that Alex was trying to come back, okay, you know what? This guy's bad, but we're going to get behind him because we don't want that guy. So, yes, you're right. They brought him in, but I don't think they want to control law enforcement. They can do it. They don't need you. They don't need me. They don't need any vote. They can do it. So what we need to do is to bring a sheriff that can finally find the balance. Leroy Baca, when he took his medication, he knew what he was doing. If you remember because you came in, you were in the department at that time, Leroy Baca and Gloria Molina will go at it. Mm-hmm. I mean, they will curse each other. They will call each other name. And then at the end, they will shake hands. Okay, this is what we need to do to make the department better. This is what we need to do to make sure that we have public safety in the county. They worked at it. They didn't just insult each other and left it at that. They work at it. They compromise. Even the president of the United States compromises with Congress. When you have someone as sheriff, I am the sheriff, I can do whatever I want. That's not a starter. Nothing is going to happen. Nothing is going to get fixed. And then calling them names and nicknames and whatever have you, that's going to make the matter worse. We need a sheriff that's able to compromise and find the solutions. Now, you may laugh at me and say, what kind of compromise are you going to have with Janice Hahn? Do you know, you may not know this, Janice Hahn, as liberal as she is, has done more for veterans in this county than probably any other politician. When she came in 12 years ago, about to be 12 years ago, she's about to be termed out in 2 years. She said, I want to make sure that there are no military personnel out there in the street homelessness. And guess what? She's done an outstanding job doing that. The Bob Hope Hall in downtown, It's way better now because of Janice Hahn. So that's an avenue. That's a window for me to come in. Janice, we're going to disagree 98% of the time. But I agree with what you're doing with our veterans. And I want to help you with that in any way, shape, or form that I can with my limited abilities as the sheriff. And then I can find that as a venue to find other ways to work together. Mm-hmm. But I'm also going to let them know, you don't work for me, and I don't work for you. You don't like me, I'm not your guy, but we have two things in common. Number one, we're elected officials. Number two, we have a constitutional duty to do our jobs as elected officials. And then whatever happens, happens from there. But you have to be able to compromise. You have to be able to work with the board. Vilifying the board left and right is not going to lead us anywhere. We have to find common solutions. And yes, I know a lot of my fellow deputies don't like the word. We have to compromise. This is politics. This is not like a probable cause. I have probable cause, you're going to jail. You have to be able to compromise with them. So I believe that's the difference between me and a lot of the other candidates that are running out there.
That's a good contrast. But I would say you're right. Absolutely right. I agree with just about everything you said. But what I'm thinking about is I would have to believe that the Board of Supervisors would be happy if you won. And because Luna's so inept, they're waiting for someone like you to come in, or Mike, or someone outsider to come in because they don't like who they chose. Mm-hmm. Buyer's remorse. Well, that's a big ask. That they would be happy not being in control of the guy who's there now because he owes them for helping him get elected.
Is he in control?
I'm just saying he's not out of control. He's not Alex fighting with him.
Correct.
So he's in control that way.
I'll give you a perfect example.
One more thing.
Oh, sorry.
And then another thing is they're also the people who are responsible for the shit we've been talking about for the last hour and a half. The tents, the problem, yes. the lack of doing law enforcement. That's them.
100%.
So for them to be not part of trying to control law enforcement, they don't want law enforcement.
They don't. I agree.
So saying that they were hoping Alex didn't run and that somebody else would come in, that person would basically be going against everything they've done. A real sheriff, they would stop them from doing all their shit. They would do like we talked about, like you would do. No more tents, no more fentanyl, start arresting for influence, smash and grabs, all the things that they like. Mm-hmm. They have to have a vested interest in wanting him there because he's so weak, they can do all those things. Bringing a strong sheriff would be like shooting themselves in the foot.
I agree. But they realized once Luna came in and the amount of money, Luna promised that he was going to fix the budget. Mm-hmm. That was one of his promises. I'm going to bring, I forgot the term. He loves the word partnership. Partnership. That's his key word for everything. That one and holistic approach. I don't know what holistic approach means, but all right, whatever, dude. But he came in and says, I'm going to balance this budget. Mm-hmm. And it's a complete opposite. No. I believe, I could have the numbers wrong, we're about $150 million in the red right now. That speaks to the board of supervisors. It could be the guy that they chose. But let me tell you something. In politics, they have no issues throwing you out the door, even though they're ones who
I know.
You through.
It's all about money.
It's all about the money.
They want to use the money the way they want to.
But if you have someone that's effective, and is willing to work with them in some way, shape, or form, you don't have to be best friends. That goes a long way. You do your thing, I do my thing. I'm not saying allow them to do criminal behavior. But like I told people, if you want to change the board supervisor, electing a sheriff is not the solution. Electing someone else to be in the board supervisor, especially in 2032, when they go from 5 to 9, that's going to be the key to changing that body. And you're also going to have an elected CEO starting in 2030. So that's another layer of bureaucracy that we're going to have to deal with. The sheriff has to be able to work with them.
That's assimilate.
Correct. You have to be able to work with them. You don't have to agree. No. But you have to be able to work with them. This man is not even working with them. He's, like you said, he's just there.
They're doing what they want.
Correct.
But I know that they love the way things are. We know how much money is going into. We're fixing the problem. We got to address the problem. We're outreach and rehab and nonprofits. We know how much money is generated. It's billions of dollars. Billions. And we know a lot of people are buying better cars because of it. I'm just trying to stay that line.
No,
I don't want to get you in trouble.
No, you're not going to get me in trouble. I'm already deep in. I cannot go any deeper.
So I would let's just put it out there. You win.
Yes.
And then you start doing all these things we've kind of been talking about. But you're walking the line. You got to work with them. I get that. The budget, the whole bit. And now you're friends. You're cordial, just like Block and they used to be. If you do your job effectively, that money train's going bye-bye.
Yes.
Because the fraud, not the real outreach because it needs to be done. I'm talking about the fraud.
I agree.
Because there is legit outreach, and most of it's faith-based. Needs to stay, needs to be enhanced as far as I'm concerned, of course. But the fraud needs to go because anything illegal is illegal. That's your job. As a chief law enforcement of the state, probably the country, your job is that. It's going to be against them. So they're going to fight on that. But I think you can win that because they can still figure out how to get what they want to.
Yes.
And everybody could be happy. There's a way to do it without stepping on feet.
But you brought up a good word, fraud. And what I always tell people is this: there is fraud. You can't deny that. You have to be a rock to deny that there's a lot of fraud going on. But one of the things these politicians have been really good at in probably the last 20 years is establishing legal ways of paying themselves.
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't meet the fraud definition per our penal code. When I tell people, you're just not going to be able to take. We've been promising that we're going to see people in handcuffs going to jail for the last 10 years.
Yep.
We have yet to see it. Why? Because the very same politician that promised you that when they came into public realized what they were doing was legal. It's unethical, it's wrong, but it's legal. Now, the question is going to be when you stop the gravy train. When you see a politician that's effective. So I'll use the homeless issue as an example. Homelessness is not a law enforcement problem. It is a political problem. So what I'm going to do, I become the sheriff. I'm going to work with my contract cities. I'm going to work with my contract cities and say, you have a problem with the homeless people. This is what we can do. This is what we're going to do. Do I have your backing? Because you want me to remove this problem from your streets. But I want to make sure before I do that, and my deputies go out there, get into DIS, deputy involved shooting, or get into some kind of force, that you're going to back up my deputies. I don't want you on TV the next day saying,
you didn't want us there.
Yeah, you didn't want us there, and this guy was going to be the next. He was on his way to medical school. So I want to make sure that the political will is there before we act.
It's true.
I am not going to go, and I tell this to voters, even though it's costing me votes. I'm not going to go to Skid Row and clean it up. I'm not going to do that. That's LAPD. Can the sheriff go into any city and clean up the issue? 100%. But remember, if I go into Skid Row and I can clean up Skid Row in 24 hours, where's the follow-up? I don't have the resources
as soon as
to
you
do
leave,
a follow-up.
it's going to come right back.
100%. 100%. 3 days later, it's going to be back. It's going to be worse because now they know that's free real estate. The homeless people, it's all about real estate.
Yeah, I know.
They're going to go there, free real estate, and I'm going to get free stuff. I almost said a curse word. I hope I didn't say it there.
You can.
They're going to get free stuff. So it's great to go out there with cameras and say, look at me, 1033, look at me, look what I did. But at the end of the day, there's no follow-up. You're just there for the cameras. You're giving people false hope. So when I tell people in the city of LA, you want this fixed, you got to vote for a different city council, a different mayor. The sheriff can then come in as a constitutional and county officer and add to those resources and help you defeat this problem.
Do it together.
But the sheriff alone is not going to do it.
No.
You got to know your limitations. So that's how I will attack the homeless problem. I first have to start with my contract cities. You can't fix somebody's home without fixing your house first. We first start with the contract cities. Once I have the political will, we're going to do this. Obviously, there's going to come the time where the people, hey, you're an elected official. You are the sheriff. Fix this. City council, city manager, we need to fix this. The people are screaming for help. Well, you know what? I tried. I help you. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'll figure it out how I'm going to do it and do the follow-up later on because I do need the money. I do need the resources that hopefully the board will provide. But again, if I don't have that relationship first with the board, they're going to shut me down.
Yeah.
I mean, it got to the point under Alex Villanueva, they were not even talking.
I know.
You can't.
You got to talk.
You got to talk.
You bring up Molina and Block. I remember all that.
God rest his soul.
Yes. But I was bail for record. So my judge was Ira's assistant. So I heard all about the Gates, Block, Molina.
What a trio.
It wasn't Cooley. Who was the one before? Reiner. I heard all about it. He was his aide. So he had Reiner's aide. So he told me all the insights. Great man. And he was telling me how they worked together. They didn't see eye to eye, but they worked together.
Yes.
And they would go to, he was a head of SID. So he was in charge of prosecuting cops. That was the DA's job, bad cops. And he talks about how his whole time they didn't prosecute one cop. Because Gates and Block would come in and explain what happened, do the investigation, and they go, okay, it's discipline for the department discipline. We're going to take care of it.
Yes.
Nothing corrupt. It was just they didn't overreact.
Policy issues.
Yeah, policy or even separation. But it wasn't hiding shit.
Correct.
But he explained that they talked. And they're talking about on camera the enemies of all these people. And he said, but they would sit there and hash things out.
Yes.
And he said Gates would talk to Block would talk to Molina, and they would all go back and forth, and they'd walk and shake hands and walk away.
That's it.
That's how you get shit done.
That's it.
You can't fight with these people, especially when two people have so much power. Money is power.
Yes.
And you need them. Our deputies need to be paid. We need to hire more deputies. We need to get better cars. We need more money all the time, and that's what's going on. First thing they did is they grabbed money just to make them hurt, and that was the easiest move I've ever seen in my life.
That's true.
They're gonna take the money off the table and make him suffer because he has to. Now he's got to do more with less.
Correct.
I was sad because I was there. We started seeing things. All of a sudden, our cars were just garbage, and we can't buy anything. So I hope there's hope on the horizon.
Yes.
And if you need anything from me, just give me a call. Come and do it again.
Thank you.
And if things go well, you owe me another one.
Oh, I do. I will be the first one here to come in and say thank you.
You might be like, I can't talk to that guy after this.
I'll tell you what, I'll be back here with either 5 stars or with a green shirt.
Either
way, I'm going to say, hey, I just want to say thank you.
Either or, come back, please. I appreciate it. You have anything you want to give, your sites or anything?
No, I just want to say thank you very much for allowing me to be here and share my vision for public safety. I want you listeners, your viewers to know, get out there and vote. Don't just go by what people say. Don't just go by what some political party tells you. Get out there, do your research. I humbly ask to have their support, their vote. But at the end of the day, I want them to go out there and make a decision, like you said, that's best for them and their families. And if you need more information about me, I'm in every single social media platform, or you can go oscar4sheriff.com, Oscar, the number 4, sheriff.com. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Good meeting you.
Thank you, sir.